All right, hello and welcome to another one of these fantastic Nobody Investor live streams. These are shows where we get to spend time with some of our earliest investors in Nobody Studios, people who heard our mission from the very beginning and were bold enough to get involved. We've been very lucky to have amazing investors from fantastic companies all over the world, from Facebook to Google, American Airlines. But today we're joined by one of our most special and favorite investors, and actually a lady who's not only invested herself, but managed to bring more investors to the company probably than anybody else. It's welcome, Julie Jennings. How you doing, Julie?
Hi, Barry. It's so good to see you again.
No, it's fantastic to see you and great to spend time with you. Now, listen, you have a phenomenal, I suppose, entrepreneurial journey in many ways. You were involved in, I think, one of the fastest growing and biggest healthcare companies on the West Coast of the US, particularly focused in health and wellness, which is a huge area of the studio. So can you share with folks who maybe haven't met you before or don't know you a little bit of your own sort of entrepreneurial story in the spaces you've been working in?
Sure. I guess I've never really considered myself entrepreneurial, but I suppose we all have a little bit of that in us somewhere. But truly, if I think back, probably even my one of my first ventures into the healthcare space, which I've been in for way too long. that I don't want to age myself.
Yeah.
I actually was in a startup PPO in the early 80s. That was one of my first entrepreneurial ventures, one of the first four employees. And, kind of, as you know, in a startup, you're doing everything, you're learning everything, you're building from scratch. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. And I feel like I kind of carried that through everything I've done in my career. Just learned so much about business and leadership and culture and operations and all that. So, that was kind of my first venture. And also spent a lot of time running operations for health plans, but also a couple years in a consulting business that I started with a couple of partners, and we were consulting back to health plans on strategic planning and KPIs and other things like that. So that was kind of entrepreneurial, I guess. But what you're referencing is in my transition to a complementary health care company, American Specialty Health, and that was a invaluable experience as well, and definitely innovative, entrepreneurial in its space. One of the few in its space. Grew nationally pretty quickly, and was really servicing health plans offering chiropractic, acupuncture, massage therapy, those types of complementary services, and expanded beyond that to fitness line of business, offering fitness network management to health plans and benefited services, and then also to population health and wellness. So I had the pleasure and the benefit of serving in all of those lines of business and learning so much. But I ended there really in the most of my time in population health and wellness, and spent a lot of time in product management there, and where we got to meet you, Barry. But it was a great experience, very invaluable. We were not only developing new products, we had line of wellness products, but we had to innovate every year or more, or more frequently for our clients, to keep it fresh and to keep the engagement up for participants in the wellness programs. But we also most recently opened a back pain management program, really centered around cognitive behavior therapy, which I know is probably near and dear to your heart as you're thinking about some of the things that you're doing. It was a great program, online for the most part, but also offered some telephonic coaching, and so we built that out and offered that to health plans, and continued to iterate and innovate to enhance that program as well. So a lot of good stuff going on there.
Absolutely, and like as you say, I had the pleasure to work with you when you were at American Specialty Health and leading the team there. And already we're getting questions from people saying, yeah, they're delighted to have you on the show here and sharing that. But what, one of the things actually, just to even spend a little bit of time on some of the amazing work that you've actually been doing in the healthcare space. I think back surgery is like one of these really interesting things, right? It has such a poor success rate.
Mhm.
And one of the things that really stood out to me with American Specialty Health is how you were building these programs to help sort of coach people back to health. Can you just share like a little bit, just so people get to understand that dynamic? Because it's always
Absolutely.
the surgery will fix it. But actually,
Right.
you were building holistic care services like a long time ago, right before they were cool. So can you
Yes.
just tell people a little bit just about that, just to dig in a tiny little bit more there?
Sure, right. Well, the idea, as you said, was to help people understand their options, first of all, understand the risks and, of back surgery and what they could do to try other alternatives, certainly before having to go under the knife. And so we really worked with people to not only train them, but to help them think about their pain and how to think about their pain differently, as opposed to woe is me, it's debilitating, I can't do anything. It's what can I do? How can I move forward? What are my next steps? And it really was enlightening to people, and there were major aha moments and really kind of helped people rethink about their pain so that it wasn't something that they couldn't manage anymore. And we called it retraining their brain to think differently about pain. And it had phenomenal success. I actually went through the program myself as a back pain sufferer, not anything to the degree of needing surgery, but nonetheless, it was pretty crazy. And we developed both a kind of chatbot type of approach, as well as telephonic coaching for those that really had a more serious problem that needed somebody to guide them through the process. But it was very successful and still is. It's still something that they're driving and pushing for.
Yeah, right. And we can already see like some of your Jeff Miller's already shouting out saying that he misses you and all the great work you did. But again, I think it just, even you sharing that story gives people a little insight into your psyche, right? As a product leader, is actually experiencing the program for yourself and then using that to inform like what you build, right? Like these are really powerful mechanisms. So for us then at Nobody Studios, so why don't you share a little bit then about like how did you discover Nobody Studios and what encouraged you to get involved?
Well, Barry, having the pleasure of you coming in to consult with us at ASH, we had the pleasure of reading your books as our executive reading program. So Lean Enterprise and Unlearn, and then really got the pleasure of having you come in to help us really apply the principles of that Lean Enterprise to our product development process and life cycle. And it was I wouldn't say it was an easy task for you, but
No, it's great.
but we learned a lot, and I think it really transformed our IT department. And so I do thank you for that. But I, thoroughly enjoyed working with you. Very impressed with you and your philosophies and principles in Lean Enterprise. And so I was following you, following your journey and seeing what you were up to, and saw you posting about it on LinkedIn about Nobody Studios, and certainly this, BHAG of 100 companies in 5 years was like, what? Okay, let's see some more about this. And then, so continue to follow the journey, and then you posted that you were looking for some angel investors, and I said, this sounds like something that would interest me. So we got a chance to talk, and then you introduced me to Mark. I had a great Zoom call with him, and really kind of felt instantly aligned with him and his vision, and very impressed with his track record, and it just felt right. It felt like something that I wanted to get him involved in.
Yeah, and we've been very grateful for that moment ever since. I joked at the start of the show, not only are you a fantastic person just to have on our network and amazing experience you've got, but you've also turned into like the ultimate fundraiser as well. You're like, this is a hidden skill you didn't even know if you knew you had, where people are just like, so they're like, oh, Julie's doing this. Yeah, I got to get involved. And so we've been so grateful for you to like share even within your own network, and even on shows like this, just your own experience about what got you excited to be part of the studio. And we're so grateful for all the other great people that are around you that have been like, yeah, let's dig in and let's see how we can help. It's been super fun. And
it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard. Just dinner conversation, or by the beach in Puerto Rico, and friends and family, and they wanted to jump on board. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. So for someone then yourself, right? Like you are one of our earliest investors, right? Like as we started out this journey and sharing it with different people, like you've been involved pretty much from really the very beginning of bringing more people that into the business. So what are some of the things that have sort of struck you as you've seen the company evolve over the last sort of 2 years?
Oh gosh, there's a lot of things that, impressed me a lot about Nobody. And first of all, it's just the transparency. I mean, having this type of dialogue, and opening it up to everybody, and being able to, share what you're doing, how you're doing it, more about your people and who you are and your culture. And I think that's phenomenal. And as a shareholder, most people are used to maybe getting sitting in on a quarterly analyst call and hearing what they want the market to hear, but you don't get to know what's really happening in the company. And I think that's something that you offer. And, participating in the all hands meetings, fun, and just getting to know personalities a little bit more. But I think also, one of the things that I guess has surprised me is the global expanse of your company as a startup. I think that's phenomenal. And what are you in? I think you're shy 2 continents or something, but you're getting there.
We haven't got
Yeah.
Antarctica. I feel like it's like if we ever get to Antarctica, I'll be happy. But only Africa left to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're like investors in 30 countries now. We've teams working across almost the same amount. It's been phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely, and super fun.
Yeah, so the ability to, recruit the best talent from wherever, and the investors, and have that kind of product reach, I think is absolutely, fantastic. And I think, the other thing that struck me is the culture that you're creating at Nobody. And I think that, is something that's been always very important to me. And so I see it, you know it when you see it. And I remember when I was getting recruited down to Ash, and I was in the LA area, and they were in San Diego, and I'm like, I don't, I can't move my family. My daughter was 12 and very in, competitive dance and all. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. But my prospective boss was also a former boss of mine. And so we worked at this one company that had just a phenomenal culture. And I asked him how the culture was. And he said, Julie, he said, I don't think you're going to find one that's, as close to what we had as you will here. And I said, okay, I'm coming. So, that was really it. And it truly was based on, that culture, and the just everybody from line management up is, the commitment level, willing to do whatever it takes, have each other's back, no politics, it's just very diverse and open. I think that's huge. And you guys are, putting your money where your mouth is and really investing in that. And I think it's terrific. So
yeah, and it's amazing to hear someone like you share that too as well, from your like what you see from your perspective. It really is our company, right? All of us here, yours, mine, everybody who contributes to the Nobody, and it's really nice to see that shines through to someone like yourself as well. So really, like, looking forward, then, what are some of the things you're most excited about for the future of Nobody, and maybe ways that you think you'll continue to keep being involved and cheer us on?
Oh, I'll still be involved, absolutely. And the more the better. It's exciting to be a part of. But I think that what excites me about the future of Nobody is the world is your oyster, right? You have the diversification opportunity to be in, you're already in a number of verticals, and to be in kind of any industry that you want. And I think that you're going to be strategic about it and disciplined about it, which is also the other thing that I truly appreciate about Nobody, is your progressive approach to product development. So I think that's what I look forward to. And I look forward to seeing these, real world problems that we're solving here. And I think that's what's going to make a difference. So that's what's exciting to me.
Yeah, and look, we're absolutely excited to have you. You can already see some of your super fans, whether it's Jeff or Jay, shouting in to say that they're excited to be part of Nobody, just and be in the crew with you. Julie, it's been amazing to have you on. Thank you for sort of sharing your story with us. I'm excited to keep building companies with you, for you to keep cheering us on and helping us get better. Thanks again for being on the show today.
Thank you. Happy to help any way I can. Look forward to our future.